Hello and welcome to this video. This is regarding artificial intelligence, and this is a very new role. So, if you have QAs, maybe this should change to QA for AI, right? This is gonna be, some videos, very few, like 5 or 6 maximum. This is part one. And the role here is for some QA to help with the quality. The goal is with the quality of the overall artificial intelligence system, which is a non-deterministic system, right? It's a stochastic system. You don't know what the output will be. But regardless that, let's consider that there is someone who is put to the role of helping and ensuring the quality of such a system, and let's see all the different aspects that a QA could help. And first of all, we start here with the context. So this first video is gonna be regarding the basics, and it is about you see there the funny picture with the robots looking at the screen, not understanding what what they are supposed to do because actually, the humans who asked them to do something, they were not explicit. They were not. Yeah, I mean, there was no clear context. And let's be more specific. What we're talking here, we're talking about that the QA should ensure that the overall business goal is clearly outlined. Um, because if you don't have, a clear goal, you might have something that says, "Build me an AI that autocompletes text," and someone could consider that, it just mean that an AI can autocomplete text. It will work like magic. The people will love it and be willing to pay for it, right? So someone is considering that an AI like that could be like a nice business without being exactly sure what we're trying to accomplish here, or what is the experience that you're offering to the customers. And so um, QA can help with that, because QA will read this requirement, and is part of the QA role to challenge it, right? To say, what do you mean autocomplete text? When should autocomplete? In under which circumstances? And how long should be the text, etc. And let's see something. So basically, the questions are: what are the specifications? What are the requirements? And so let's change this a little bit and say that I want to build an AI that auto-completes quick responses that the user could have typed if you wanted to respond in a quick manner. Um, and This is much more specific than the previous one. And you could also specify in the requirements that the important dimensions here are where, when, how, confirmation or denial. So this is where the AI will help with the responses. Actually, it will not just autocomplete any kind of text. It will help with the quick responses. So this is becomes much more specific, and you can have here various examples actually, and you could say that if the prompt is talking about, let's say, an event, and but it's not specifying the location, then you would expect the quick response to be where will the meeting take place. So the user will not actually type where will the meeting take place, but the user will have this automatically there as a quick response that he can use. And these are some more example, like how is this working, or yes, this is no problem at all. And you might have already seen this kind of quick responses in some platforms already. And let's say that someone wants to build something a little bit more advanced regarding that. Even with this, uh, specification that seems more concrete, you're more sure what you want to do with this second specification. So the let's say the business goal is more clearly outlined here, and the QA can still help by asking more questions, by being more specific. And so questions actually can change the course of a project, and this is not something that it's on the side. This is actually at the core of the QA role because of the luxury of time. The QAs have the luxury of time to a little bit go through the business requirements in their head, like take them step by step, like try to envision them, how someone might do, what steps someone might follow. And actually, like for example, you might be asked from various team leaders to find gaps via test analysis. What they're really, asking you is like, ask the right questions, ask questions. Be Because when you ask questions, you have to think about what you're asking. So you're surely gonna spend time thinking about your scenarios, and through the scenarios are gonna come a lot of questions. Um, for example, should the user have full responses or the beginning of responses? So this is important because this could be a totally different experience, right? If it helps you start your sentence, you need to write, otherwise you don't. So between those two, so by asking this simple question, you can actually change the course of the project because someone might have stuck of thinking only of full responses, but someone might say, okay, let's consider of having prompts for the beginning of the responses, and the user will type the rest of it. Another question that you could have is, are we going to filter the AI of producing insulting words? I mean, should we consider filtering at all? So, in general, just by simply thinking of, that the uh, insulting words or insulting phrases. For example, the AI could recommend to the user that a phrase that would say, "I couldn't care less." Uh, but usually, before going to this question, right? Did you actually start thinking about insulting people with their responses? You might have missed this, and it's part of the QA's job to actually, just ask it, engage the entire team of think about how to manage inappropriate content generated by the AI. And again, this could be something that change the course of the project, might change the planning, might change the deliverables. It can change a lot just by this simple question. Let's go to another example of a question. Is there a backup where the AI might be malfunctioning or be put down? Again, um, someone might consider of that, you know, because this is a question, because someone might say to the QA that, okay, I mean, if the AI is down, we can just show nothing, and the user will type his response as he would normally do in a chat. So all good, but maybe we could do something better. Just by asking that, maybe we have some a dummy model, let's say, that it's not a machine learning model, a dummy model that can understand, let's say, for example, a sentiment analysis. In the sentiment analysis, you can have like a positive or negative sense of what someone is saying, and then you can recommend, for example, something uh, like a positive response, a negative response, or a question. Or anyway, you can have a more dummy model that it's a simple algorithm that maybe doesn't require the resources that the AI would require. So it would be a backup. Uh, Again, you could change and like here again by this question, you're actually doing your job, right? As a QA, you're reassuring the quality that maybe the responses are not available through AI, but maybe other smart kind of responses, maybe less intelligent but still kind of smart, could be available. Another another thing for the team to consider. Other question: are the users going to receive this on your mobile, in desktop, or in both? Because, for example, it's much easier to type in desktop than in mobile. And again, this question can alter the context, and of course, don't get me wrong. All of these questions could have been asked for sure from anyone from the team, and it's not the responsibility of the QA to ask them, but usually these these edge cases are missed in a meeting where we're considering mainly on the core of the feature, on the technicalities of how to implement it, how much it's gonna cost in terms of time, for example, etc., or in terms of other resources that might be needed. And so you will not go to these kind of details, maybe. So that's why QA having the extra time to spend on the scenarios can go through and wonder about these different dimensions that could affect the project. And this is fully applicable in an AI project like that. um, Again, mobile, desktop, it depends of the experience and what you want to achieve, and if AI will be useful in both cases or not. You can actually think about that, right? Um, Another question is, will the AI take into account only the last message of the conversation, or will it also be based on previous messages? This is this falls much more in the role of the QA now, because you need to write scenarios, right? And what kind of input are you going to have in these scenarios? Um, for example, let's consider that you have, um, you know, uh, for example, like you need to construct somehow. The AI might not always, because of some randomness that might be involved inside the model, it might not always give the same response. But in general, you want to see, how stable is the responses of the AI by given same or similar prompt, and you want to know, what the AI will be fitted. If you change a little bit something else above in the conversation, will this affect the response? Or, so because you might have randomness that generates other responses, and you might be thinking, that okay, that the responses are changing because I'm changing something else at the conversation, but the developer might explain to you that no, only the last message plays a role. So whatever you are doing, it's only because it has nothing to do with the actual response, because it had to do with only about with the randomness inside the model. So when you clarify this, you know clearly what the input will be, so you know what to change and alter, and work with the model. And another example of a final question here. Let me just also get one for one more time. Let's move myself out of the content. And here is who is going to confirm that the responses are good enough. Um, Here it's one of the most tricky questions, and here needs involvement. The QA needs discussions, perhaps with the product manager himself or herself. Um, it will need discussions with the AI engineers, because the point is like what in what what space, in what domain are we expecting the outputs to be. You might have some examples, but if you get something too long or too short, should you report it as a malfunctioning of the system, or is it something expected? Now, in AI, much more difficult job here, because the output in other systems, even they have lots of formulas, etc. Kind of what to expect as an output. Here in AI, you don't know what exactly to expect, but you can be there to. You have the luxury of time to actually, execute the model many times, generate lots of output, and actually see, what this is. You know, and maybe also provide some insights, right? Because QAing is not only providing, saying that this is a bug, this is not a bug. It's also about providing feedback. Through the feedback, you're ensuring the quality, because you have provided to the entire team that that this is the truth. This is what I got. I got all of these outputs. It's not just a plain list because they could do it themselves, but these outputs have been filtered by you. They have been organized. They have been summarized by the QA, and you have put your insights, your comments, or how do you think? What is your perspective as an end user? And all of that can be an amazing report that could be used to be sent to the team, and the team will know, what to do, or give you some more feedback that you know, dear QA engineer, if you see these kind of outputs, please report them immediately. These are not expected from our system, etc. Or put them as a major priority, and someone will pick it up to check it, for example. Um, and here we're changing a little bit and putting uh, starting here as a bonus topic for this first video, and this will be the last slide, is that what about the processes that you're using of developing your models? I understand here now that you might have an awesome team, that supposedly everyone are seniors and they know what they're doing, and there is a lead that is guiding uh, the whole process, and is doing code reviews and trying to get everyone to work with a framework that is being built inside the company. However, the quality here, the part of the QA, comes plainly because um, the quality comes when everyone learns and follows the similar practice of building the AI. So this is so think much more traditional QA, where you have a checklist and you say, do they follow this process? Do they follow the other process? Do they follow the other process? And you might have, through the discussions and through the experience of working as a QA for an AI model, um, you might have some insights here, that that everyone should be doing these and these and these and these things. For example, like you might say that since we're using scikit-learn to play with some, when I say play, I mean experiment with some models, is that to ensure that everyone is using pipelines and transformers. So this means that you organize all of your steps and you don't have people just, because then the experimentation starts in super notebooks, right? Or starts inside MATLAB. It depends on what tool are you using, but you shouldn't let people just write, raw kind of code. Um, they can experiment by using similar practices, so everyone can actually speed up themselves because everyone is contributing to this process. And at the end, you want to say that we have seen that someone is using uh, a cross validate everyone someone is using a lot of cross validation, and someone has been found to have good results by doing dimensionality reduction. Again, remove myself from here. And or someone is always trying ensemble methods. Maybe this is not so costly for everyone to do. So for everyone to go through these steps. Of course, it's always good to have the scientists, the machine learning scientists, uh, to be able to experiment with anything they want. But there are also people, they're going to forget about things, or um, they might want to also to create a framework in order to speed up the process for more junior data scientists that might be joining the team. So you need to have this kind of flow, and there are tools like MLflow, and I know there are others that are targeting this to help you organize. So basically, that was it. This was mainly how the QA can be involved at the very, very, very beginning of building an AI model. Um, and in more practical stuff, we're going to go through in the rest of the videos. So thank you very much for watching this. This was George Pligoropoulos.